Okay guys, I want to talk to everyone for a little bit about my preferred carry ammo. And I'm going to explain to you some details about this round and why I think that it's one of the most superior rounds being sold out there on the self-defense market today. There's a lot of great rounds out there, guys, so if you have a good quality hollow point, chances are most times that's going to do the job for you and everything that you need. But if you like to cover all of your bases, so to speak, and anything that you might encounter, and I'll get into that a little bit later. This is going to be talking about barriers and different things like that. This ammo excels in that category as well. So that's one of the reasons why I like this ammo so much. Let me go ahead and give you the stats on this. Now, this also has a plus P version, which I'm going to be picking up as well. Same grain and build and everything like that. It's just a plus P higher loaded pressure round. This is the 135 grain flex lock, is what Hornady calls it. And as you'll see here, the muzzle velocity is 1,015. At 50 yards, it's 965, and at 100 yards, it's 923. So here's what the box looks like. And unlike a lot of other self-defense ammo, this comes in boxes of 25 rounds. And it's really not extremely expensive, guys, for what it is, and for self-defense ammo, it's not that bad, depending on where you get it. Now, I do have a lot of these loaded up in some of the 9mm guns, so that's why these boxes aren't full right now. So here is the Hornady Critical Duty Flex Lock bullet. Let's take a closer look. Okay, one of the things you'll notice about this round right off the bat is this polymer piece that's inside the tip of the bullet. Now, this is what Hornady calls the flex tip. And what this does is it makes consistent expansion, and it prevents clogging from any type of clothing or heavy clothing that someone would be wearing if you need to use this round. It also has something that Hornady calls a heavy-duty interlock band that locks the jacket and the core of the bullet together. Now, because of that interlock band that keeps the core and the bullet from separating, it keeps maximum weight retention, and this performs 100% through all FBI test barriers. Those barriers include auto glass, sheet metal, plywood, heavy clothing, and drywall. Now, how the FBI tests this is the barriers are put up, and then a square block of ballistic gelatin is placed on the other side of the barrier. Now, in all of these barriers, the auto glass, the sheet metal, the plywood, the heavy clothing, and the drywall, which is 2 pieces of drywall, all of the rounds went through the barriers and then expanded fully and went 12 to 18 inches into the gelatin block on the other side. Now, this ammunition is more geared toward law enforcement, but it does have its purposes for civilian use as well. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, now, everybody's situation is going to differ on this, guys, and this will probably be kind of controversial, what I'm about to say, but it does have its place when talking about a round such as this that can penetrate barriers and expand. Now, if you're in your home and someone breaks into your home and you are trying to get away, or you know that someone broke into your home, you could presumably shoot that person through a wall when they're coming down the hallway, where you have the drywall walls, or if you tried to retreat to a bedroom or something like that and you had the door closed, you could shoot them through the door right when they get to the other side of that door. Now, I don't want to get into a lot of the different aspects of this, but the number one thing I'm going to tell you is if you have several people or maybe even anyone else in the home, this is going to be a situation where you're going to have to really be watchful on what you do. There are several people who live alone, and if someone else is in their house, it's going to be the bad guy, okay? So if you have a wife and a couple of kids in the house, don't go shooting through your walls, guys. You know, just make sure you're very careful of that. So another thing is, many states, like the one I'm in, have castle doctrine that's not only in your home, but it extends to your vehicle as well. So if somebody is going to carjack you and they are in the process of trying to enter your vehicle, in those states where castle doctrine applies to your vehicle, you can use force up to deadly force to stop that threat. Now, you're going to have to check all of your local laws, depending on where you live, okay, to see if you have that. Now, this bullet would also come in very handy there. If the bullet hits the body panel of the car or the glass, and the guy, you know, the secret is, guys, to stop the threat before it happens. You don't have to let this guy get into your car, sit down, and put a knife to your head before you can shoot him. But if you know that you are being carjacked and you want to use force against the person that's trying to carjack you, he may just be starting to enter the vehicle or maybe trying to break the window out. A bullet such as this is going to go through auto glass or the car door, and then when it hits soft tissue, because our bodies are mostly water, this is going to open up and expand just as it should in soft tissue, but will penetrate through the glass or the car door or body panels of the car. So that is just two, and I'm sure there are more, but that's just two of the benefits for civilian use of this round. Okay, now in a law enforcement application, this would have many, many other uses besides just those two, because there's a lot of times that an officer is dealing with situations where he is shooting through barriers, especially cars and car glass. Those encounters are much more likely than a civilian would ever encounter. So in something like that, for a law enforcement round, this would be excellent as well. Also, one of the things that I really have found that I like with this round, and I'm going to show you that in a demonstration here in a minute, is the nickel cases. Number one, these nickel cases resist corrosion. You know, after you handle them, and you know, they get oils on it from your skin and different things like that. The nickel cases hold up a lot better than just the brass. It's not that the brass is ruined once it starts to get a little corrosion on there, but this just keeps everything nice and neat and from getting that corrosion on there. One of the things that I noticed that I really like is, you know how a lot of people do chamber checks and things with their gun, and the nickel casing is also very good in that aspect as well. If you do a chamber check and it's low light where you're at, that nickel casing is going to stand out a lot more than the darker brass would when you check the chamber if you're not in a bright area. Okay, now another thing I really like about this round, and I'm going to demonstrate it here and show you in this Gen 4 G19 that I really like, is here I have a fully loaded magazine, and I don't have one in the chamber yet, so I'm going to go ahead and make the gun hot, and I'm going to show you something that I noticed, and I'm hoping it's going to show up on here. Now, this is much more evident in person than it is on the video from what I can see right here, but if you see right there in front of the extractor, you can actually just tilt the gun to the side and you can see that nickel case that you have a round in the chamber. It's going to be very evident just by turning the gun to the side. And every time I reholster this gun, when I get up in the morning, I just simply turn the gun to the side a little bit, and even though there's a shadow here in the way I'm filming this, you can still see that nickel case in there. And it's even more apparent if you were looking at this gun in person right now. So that's one of the benefits. And you know, if you carry this ammo and when you chamber around, you know, make sure you're pointing the gun in a safe direction and don't point it at anyone, but just kind of turn your gun to the side and see if there's a little gap like that where you can see that nickel casing in there. And that's a good chamber check, you know, to know that that bullet is, that round is in the chamber. Okay, now another thing with this round that I think is really awesome, and I think Hornady just really went the extra step when they designed this, is the fact that they call this a cantilured bullet, and then it has a crimped case. And what that is for is to prevent bullet setback during chambering. Now, I don't know if you can see it because they're very tiny, but there's little ridges at the bottom of the bullet going into the jacket. All those little ridges there you see. If you can see them, they're very fine, right where the jacket, right where the nickel case meets the jacket of the round. That is supposed to prevent bullet setback. And why that's good news is you could chamber this round several times and never worry about the round pushing back into the case further and causing an overpressured round which could blow up in the chamber. So you're not going to have to worry about unloading this gun and reloading it, keeping the same carry ammo for a long extended period of time. What I recommend to anyone is, after a long time of rechambering a round, just take a couple rounds out of your magazine and put this one down in the magazine and replace it with another one on top. So this is supposed to stop bullet setback. Now, that's a detail that Hornady did that I think they went above and beyond when they designed the round. So that's it, guys. That is my preferred carry ammo, and I believe it to be superior to a lot of rounds that are on the market. Now, Hornady is also another favorite of mine. Golden Saber, PDX-1 is, I've seen some good test results from that. Spear Gold Dot, you know, and things such as that nature. But I just prefer the polymer flex tips that will not get clogged with clothing, and then having the benefit and the critical duty of being able to pass through barriers if you ever need it. That's a feature that you may not ever need, and if there is no barrier, this bullet is going to enter soft tissue and expand just as it should. But if you should ever have a situation where you need to fire through a barrier, you know that this bullet, you're going to have a very high chance of it passing through the barrier and still entering 12 to 18 inches and fully expanding when it hits the target. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and give me any feedback or questions in the comment section below. And until next time, this is H4T, and hope everybody has a great day.